Peng Ong, a co-founder of the popular Match.com site, which was sold for a reported $7 million in 1998, has since acquired a Midas touch when it comes to building companies that are eventually bought by heavy hitters in the market. I spoke with him recently to find out what he looks for in potential shining stars in the startup ecosystem. Peng, you founded Match.com in 1993, and since then it's been sold and has become very, very successful. What are some of the lessons that you've learned from that first company?
Yeah, there are lots of lessons. How important VCs are, how important the leadership is. We had a lot of CEOs early on in the life of the company, and that caused all kinds of challenges, as you can imagine. So learn to be a little bit more selective with people.
You founded Interwoven in 1996, and then it went public in 99. What made this company so successful for you?
One is a few more years of experience really helps. Number two, I was in an engineering domain as opposed to a consumer domain. I'm an engineer, and the product I was building for Interwoven was an engineering type product.
It was content management. Yeah. What exactly?
Yeah. We basically defined the term content management, working on lots of little parts all over the place to deliver a website, right? And that is not easy if you think about it. So we built that system, and we called it content management.
Since then, you have started your own VC fund. What made you decide to start your own fund?
I was first of all running a VC fund for the government in Singapore, and then I was part of GSR Ventures, which is one of the top Series A early stage funds in China. By 2013, me and my partners started to realize it was time that Series A funds were available to entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia. We decided around that time to start the fund.
So you actually helped create this startup environment in Singapore.
What we tried to do more was in terms of policies and what the different parts of the government should be doing to encourage the tech ecosystem.
Hong Kong and Singapore have had this ongoing battle for a better startup environment. What would you say are the pros and cons of these two areas?
I think Hong Kong is right next to mainland China, and which has become like one of the world's top tech centers, and that influence is really, really helpful. I think that's one of the strengths of Hong Kong that Singapore doesn't have. I think both societies have sort of a natural entrepreneurial drive.
And what about Singapore?
The government in Singapore has been really pushing this 20 years. Money, effort, all kinds of energies have been put into this direction. I think there's more than 100 startups every year now out of Singapore, and I think it's cranking up.
You started your VC fund, how long ago was that?
By 2014, I think we were approved and we were fundraising. 2015, we cut our first check.
How many companies have you invested in since then?
So far, 15.
15.
More to come.
What types of companies are you looking for? Is there a particular theme?
As all VCs would tell you, great entrepreneurs, people who might be very young when we invest in them, but we can see them running a really big business 5 years from now.
What characterizes a great entrepreneur?
We look for people with high integrity that other people will follow, right? We look for people with a lot of clarity at the highest level, why am I doing this? To clarity at the lowest level, how do I know my investment in acquisition of that set of customers will be great, right? And then the last thing we look for are entrepreneurs with a lot of resilience. They'll bounce, because you're going to see a lot of situations where you think, uh-oh, it's over, and you got to keep going and get out of there.
What else do you look for?
Huge markets. We want businesses that could grow to billion-dollar valuations. And that takes billion-dollar markets. We look for businesses that effectively create a moat around their business. How do you build defensibility around your business?
What's an example of a defensible moat?
Facebook has gone from non-existence to one of the top 10 most valuable companies on the planet. What do they have that's defensible? Well, it has all our lives information on it, right? Imagine trying to get out of Facebook. You just don't, because all your connections are in there.
When you're looking at companies to invest in, so you're looking at entrepreneurs, and then you're looking at their product, what are the important factors when it comes to this?
The first thing we do is we talk to the customers, right? And we have a term we use called wildly happy customers. You need stark raving fans, right? You need people that are absolutely crazy about your products and will tell their friends, their parents, their family, everyone about your product. If you don't have that, you might have a product that meets the requirements of the users, but you just have a mediocre product. When you buy an iPhone, that's not a transaction. That's a fan receiving a great gift, I guess, from Apple. Of course, he has to pay for it.
What are some of the companies that you've invested in so far?
There's a company called Ninja Van. It's one of our first investments. It is a logistics company. It's out now in about 7 countries in Southeast Asia. Another one, which we invested in the same month, called C88. And that one's a financial supermarket. If you want to buy a financial product like insurance, you go to that site and you dig around and tries to help you. And that one's in both Manila and Jakarta.
And how much money have they been able to raise?
C88 raised about 12 to 14. Ninja Van's last round was 30 million. Yeah.
Wow.
But both these companies are out fundraising again because they're doing really well.
How often do you get pitched to?
Every day, every working day. A week is probably 20.
Does it ever get tiring? I mean, how do you...
If it gets tiring, I'll stop.
Aside from the opportunity of being able to invest in companies when you founded Monk's Hill, why else do you do it?
But I think there's also something that entrepreneurship does to societies. What you realize over that time frame is when China went from almost zero to one of the tech centers on the planet, is that the entrepreneurs and the engineers have just gained a lot of confidence about what they can do, right? I'd like to see that kind of confidence come to this part of the world.
Up next, are Hong Kong's Meals on Wheels an attractive dining alternative, or is the driver's seat too hot to handle?